sun glowing in the dark, but my world feels cold. Carrying a heavy heart with stories left untold. Smiling for the camera, but I'm breaking at the seams. Trying to hold the pieces, but it's harder than it seems. Gave my deepest loyalty, I poured out my whole soul. But fighting in the silence finally took its toll. Yeah, the timeline keeps moving, but I'm running out of breath. Got to protect my energy, got nothing left to give. When the people that you ride for leave you standing in the rain, you gotta learn to walk away and heal your own pain. So I'm turning down the volume, I'm fading out the lights, stepping back to heal my mind and make it through the nights. You can't pause the world, but I'm stepping off the stage. Gotta find my peace again, gotta turn the page. Yeah, the tape is gonna roll, it's going all the way. Welcome back to Life on Play.
You can't pause life, so live it to the fullest, because life is always on play. Welcome back to Life on Play. This is episode 6. If you've been with me since the beginning, you know my podcast has always been a space for my raw, unfiltered truth and experience in life. We talked about the highs, my creative side, the timeline of my life a little bit, and the messy parts that have gone on. Last time in episode 5, Messed Up Life, we talked about a lot of stuff. And honestly, the irony of that isn't lost on me right now. I'm going to be completely real with you guys from the jump. Getting behind the mic today is hard. That's why this episode is coming out a little later. I am just gonna sit here like I normally do, have a heart to heart with anybody who wants to listen, but mostly for myself. I've made I made a difficult but necessary decision to make a massive step back in my social media life. I'm not totally off. I'm taking break mainly though. I'll get on every now and then, but it's not like what it's gotta be. It's not what people are used to. I'm there to get my time and do what I need to do. But honestly, it's been a lot. Lately, I've been dealing with a tidal wave of heavy, heavy stuff. When you just hit that point where you realize your peace is no longer just being compromised, it's gone. It's shattered. You have to know when to press pause on the world in a way that keeps you going, because life never stops. Life's always on play. But there's some things that we can control. There's some things that we have the opportunity to say, I am setting a boundary and I'm not doing this. And that's what I'm working on for myself. Everybody gets so caught up in drama, expectations, how everything is run, where we forget that we are human. We aren't meant to do everything on our own. We aren't meant to live a life where nothing can be the way you want it, the way you feel like you should be, the way that you feel you are, is something that you have to think about at the same time. And just know, doing nothing is doing something, and that something can help so much. But sometimes that helping can tear you down. So, for the next little bit, I want to dive into what kind of happens when the weight of the world gets heavy, a little too much for you to hold, because that's what I'm going through. We're going to talk about navigating the profound isolation people are feeling when you feel like you have absolutely nobody in your corner. We're going to talk about betrayal, what that feels like, and how that impacts and affects that. We're going to talk about the reality of the physical and emotional pain that people go through due to mental health, and why protecting your peace isn't just a self-care buzzword. It's what helps you survive in life. I have a feeling today might go a little long, so get comfortable, take some deep breaths, drink some water, and let's get into it. You know it's a crazy dynamic living in the digital age. People see the curated version of you. They see the posts, they see the arts, they see the promo videos, they see you showing up, but they don't see the reality of what happens behind the scenes when that camera's off and the screen goes black. Currently, I'm navigating an overwhelming amount in my life. On top of the emotional exhaustion from things that have happened recently to the past, I'm also dealing with a physical injury that I talked about last week. And let me tell you, if you've never been in a position where your body forces you to stop, it is a deeply humbling and terrifying experience. When you are physically restricted, dealing with constant radiating pain, it honestly causes every single emotion you are already carrying to grow, to get bigger, to feel worse. And you can't just run away. You can't just distract yourself by going out or staying overly busy in life or throwing yourself into so many different tasks and lists of things to do. Your body becomes the cage at that point, and you're literally forced to sit with it. You push it all down. Pushing it down is not beneficial because it's got to come out in ways that you don't want it to come out. You're forced to look at your life, your relationships, your environment, your circumstances, exactly where you are, where they are, and experience all at one point. And the absolute hardest thing to swallow in the middle of all that quiet, of all the isolation, is the isolation and not having someone to be there with you. It is a terrifying, heartbreaking feeling, majorly hard, to look around your room when you're at your absolute lowest, physically broken, emotionally drained, mentally exhausted, and realize you are doing it completely on your own. To reach your hand out into the dark, into the hardness, and have nothing to grab but air. To realize that when you are just down and you feel like you have absolutely nobody, it makes you question everything. It makes you realize how much energy you keep pouring into keeping others afloat. How little of that energy ever finds its way back to you when you are the one drowning. Let me say that again. It makes you question everything and makes you realize how much you put into others and how little of that ever comes back when you are the one drowning. We live in a world where everybody wants a piece of you. When you're up, they love the energy. They love your creativity. They support you. They love the support you offer. But the moment you stumble, the moment you fall, the moment you struggle, the moment you're injured, the moment you are too tired to carry the weight of everyone else's expectations, the moment your boundaries inconvenience them, then they disappear and the room gets very quiet. Navigating that quiet by yourself really does end up taking a toll on your soul, your well being, who you feel you are as a person, into a way that I can barely put into words how it affects me. You wake up alone, you fight pain alone, and you go to sleep alone. It's a very heavy burden. And it's not because you can control that. It's because you're not meant to live life by yourself, doing everything by yourself, with not a single person by your side. You are meant to have peace, be able to not always be doing something. Being a busybody is not a good thing. Sometimes it seems like it's a good thing, but it's not. And it causes a heavy, heavy burden. Which brings me to betrayal. I want to talk about that for a little bit. And without going into every single little detail or giving more effort and attention to things that have happened that don't deserve to be brought up and talked about, there's just some things I need to talk about betrayal that I feel like is important for me to get out and for others to hear. Betrayal cuts differently when it comes from places you thought were safe. Let me say that again. Betrayal cuts differently when it comes from places you thought were safe. It's one thing if a stranger misunderstood you or comes at you, but it's a totally different story that crushes you with some sort of pain and hurt and some lingering feeling of resentment. When someone you stand by, someone you've been there through, someone you've defended, someone you consider your best friend, your family, someone you consider close, goes and dismisses you and turns on you when it matters most. Imagine being told that, hey, I'm going to make this right. I'm going to do this. I'm sorry for what I did. So you sit. You show up. Giving this person the benefit of the doubt, waiting for the closure, waiting for the accountability. And you are met with the absolute deafening silence of what was said was going to be done, not. And sometimes it's worse than that. Sometimes you are met with them justifying their actions or demanding you to do something or having a but at the end of their apology. This is one thing that people need to realize. When you apologize, Say you're sorry for what you did or what you caused or this situation, but don't say, but you did this. Try not to make your apology be an explanation of what you did. But honestly, what truly shatters me and my heart into a million pieces is the people you're closest to end up knowing your deepest, most agonizing things that have gone up in life. As I was saying, sorry about that. I didn't realize that my computer wasn't on silent. But most of the time, people you get close to know your hardest things that you have gone through. I have survived things that would break most people. I carry a history with my own parents weaponizing things against me, calling the police on me, lying about things multiple times, trying to make it seem like they were good because they didn't go and press charges for something I never did. Fabricating all these stories of what people want to think happened because of how they portray themselves to be. But even harder than everything that my parents have done at that point is the unbearable grief of a life that I thought I would have. The loss of a family. My younger siblings. My kids. I honestly loved them as my kids in a way. I wouldn't say my sister so much so, but at least my brother. I've gone through so much with him. I feel like I have helped raise him. I have protected both of them so much. I've done so much to be there for them. When everything first happened and I told my counselor, this is hard, my counselor even acknowledged and told me that it's because you kind of have built that parent-child bond with him, my brother specifically. And they were ripped away. I haven't seen or talked to them since December 24th of 2004, Christmas Eve. So I know what it feels to have kids taken. I know what it feels like to have no family. I know what it feels like to be completely abandoned by the people who are supposed to protect you, who are supposed to be there for you. So when people know this heavy history because you've gotten close and you've opened up to them about it, when they know the absolute agony that I have gone through every single day and still choose to treat me with such disregard, to tell me I wouldn't understand. It doesn't just hurt because of what happened today, yesterday, in the future. It rips open wounds that I have been working to fight for, to heal, to close. And through all of the pain, through all the tears, the physical aches, the sleepless nights, I have come to a major, non-negotiable realization. I think that's the word. Realization. I can't really speak. I can't. Sorry, I'm rambling now. But I've come to a massive realization. That's the word. Is I know my worth. And I'm not going to apologize for standing on my truth. I'm not gonna apologize and say sorry for defending myself. I'm genuinely sorry if people who have had nothing to do with it were caught in the crossfires and hurt by things. I will always own my impact on how it affects others. But I will not apologize for reacting to being severely mistreated. If people can't handle my boundaries, if people can't handle your boundaries, or they expect you to sit in silence while they diminish your trauma, your experience, your life, they don't belong in your life. Point, period, blank. They don't belong in your life. Taking the step back isn't hiding. It's me taking the power back. It's not hiding. It's you taking control of your life and taking that power back. Before I get off today and close this episode, there was something else I kind of want to talk about and want to pivot to. Because I'm not the only one feeling this way. I know that not many people will probably listen, but you never know. There could be people listening right now who are nodding along, who are crying in their cars, their bedroom, their safe space, just feeling just as invisible as I do. If you absolutely have anything to take away from today's episode, let it be this. Please check on your people. And if you are going through something, ask for help. We hear this phrase a lot. Watch what you say because you never know what someone is going through. People love to talk about it, quote it on their stories on social media. But how many people actually live by that? Live by the fact that you should watch what you say because you never know what someone's going through. How many people look at a friend who seems so strong, a friend who is always giving advice, the friend who's always a rock, and actually ask them how they are really doing? I love the movie Encanto. It's a very powerful movie, I would say. And this is a good example, I feel like. This sister who physically can carry as much as everything is expected to carry the burden of everything. And that's something no one person can carry, no matter how strong they are. We have created this culture in society where we just assume that if someone isn't screaming for help, if someone isn't asking for help, that they're fine, that they're doing amazing. But the strongest people you know often are the ones fighting the most terrifying internal battles in complete silence. They are literally carrying literal mountains on their shoulders, smiling for you, showing up to things, going to work, and the second that they are alone, they collapse. It doesn't take anything to go and reach out. It doesn't even take long. You don't even have to send a long message. You could just say, hey, you crossed my mind today. You don't have to reply if you don't have the energy, but I love you and I'm here for you. Or you can give them a call. It doesn't take long. But the thing is, you need to be able to know that your people are more important most of the time than your plans. And one small act of genuine love and validation and noticing someone can literally pull someone back from the edges of giving up on life. That's what's getting me to this point. When you feel like you have absolutely nobody, and then someone reaches out just to make sure that you're alive, you're breathing, you're doing okay, it is everything. It can give someone the strength to keep fighting for another day when they feel completely invisible. Don't wait until it's too late to show someone their matter. Stop assuming that someone else is going to let them know that. You need to show up, love them, tell them, be the safe place for people you care about. Because you claim you care about them. So you need to put that action behind it. So, make sure you reach out. Make sure that you're there for others. So, at that point, it's like, where do you go from there? For me, it means stepping down, stepping away, logging off, finding ways for me to heal, for me to rest my physical body, my emotional body, my mental body. Because I've been injured in multiple different ways. It's time for me to reset my mind from the emotional exhaustion. It's time for me to enter a season of recovery. But this time, I'm not letting it be a punishment for everything I've gone through. You had to frame it in a way of preservation. Humans are good at preservation, but a lot of times we tear ourselves down internally. And all the loyalty, all the love, all the fierce protective energy that I usually give out to everybody, I have to pour back into myself and fill my bucket back up and close my bucket. To the people who genuinely see me, who support me behind the scenes, who don't just want me for what I can do for them, but love me for who I am as a person, I'm telling you, I see you. I appreciate you more than words can ever say. I'm going to disconnect from the noise. I'm going to focus on my well-being. I'm going to figure out how to put these pieces back together without hurting myself in the process. And when I come back in a much better headspace, I'll be standing taller. I'll be walking lighter. And I'll be in a total different space where I can be who I want to be and know how to take care of myself. So to all of you listening, take care of yourself. Protect your peace at all cost. Set boundaries. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for enforcing them. And please remember to check in on the people you love, and if you are in need of something, for you to go and reach out for help. Whether or not you are in a suicidal place or just in a mental place where you can't, or just dealing with a lot, find someone you trust or call a hotline. You could call the National Suicide Number. It's 988. But make sure that you take care of yourself. Because remember, you can't pause life. So live life to the fullest because life is always on play. Thank you all for listening. My name is Derek. This is Life on Play, episode 6. I'm hitting pause on some things so my life can play. I'll catch you guys later, and I hope you all have a great evening, morning, day, whatever time it is for you, and hope your life gets better, grows, and you become the person you want.
Silent in my room, but the vision's getting clear. Wiped away the damage, let go of all the fear. I know exactly what I'm worth. I'm stepping out the shade, taking back the power from the promises you've broken, made. I carried all the weight, yeah, I carried all the grief. Now I'm cutting off the ties just to find my own relief. Check on the ones you love, don't let them fight alone. Sometimes the strongest hearts are the ones that hurt at home. I'm putting myself first, yeah, I'm taking back my space. Gonna build a better me, gonna find a healing place. So I'm logging off the server, cutting out the noise, finding my own rhythm, listening to my own voice. I'm stepping in the shadows, but I'm coming back to grow, pouring all this love into the only soul I know. Yeah, you can't pause life, gotta live it every day. Even when it hurts, you gotta find another way. Take a breath, protect your peace, because life is always on play. Yeah.